Welcome back, everybody. In this section, we're going to be talking about social norms. And if you just watched the previous video, you noticed there is a dress change. And this is nothing uncommon for me to wear. I wear this when I work out. You'll see me walking my dog in the neighborhood wearing this as well. And if you're taking my class, though, you'll go, "Hey, what's going on with all of this? Why are you wearing shorts? And what's with the hat? And my finance professor is not supposed to look like that." And I just feel a little bit off. And so I usually do this in my classes every semester when I talk about this topic of social norms. So social norms are these unspoken rules of society that imply finance professors I'm supposed to look like this, they're supposed to dress like this, and when it's not happened, I'm thrown off by it. And so when you observe not just how we dress, how we act, how we talk in the world around us, we start realizing, wow, there are a lot of unspoken rules of how society works. And so the good news around this is we follow these things and it provides some benefits. But at the end of the day, we like to follow these social norms because it provides comfort and acceptance. Following provides comfort and acceptance. And after all, at the end of the day, this is what we all want. Don't we all, if we're being truthful, don't we want to be accepted? And we want to be comfortable. We don't want to constantly be the outsider looking in. Because by not following these rules, a consequence is the possibility of suffering disapproval from others, and being outcast from the group. Outcast from group. And so you see why we follow these things, and we tend to look at the environment around us, how are people dressed, how are people acting, and we like to follow suit. And we're very flexible in this. So the way that we act at our job interview and the way we dress at our job interview is different than the way that we act and dress at a football game or a basketball game, which is different than the way we act at church when we go to church, which is different than the way we talk when we're at a bar. So you can see how flexible these are, but it's all based on our environment. And if we get to the core of it, we want to seek acceptance. And we're trying, if we can, to not suffer from disapproval and be an outcast from the group. We want to be accepted into it. And so we can see that these things can change over time, and how we dress, how we act, how we communicate changes over time. And we can also see that different cultures have different norms as well. If you went to Germany and you say, "Hey, how you doing?" like we do in the United States, it means literally, I want to know, how are you doing? And you need to tell me exactly, I'm having a great day, I feel really good, or I've had a terrible day, and thanks for asking, I'm going to tell you all about it. So we have to be careful in our social norms throughout cultures, and then also some in situations which we talked about, basketball game compared to church. But some of these benefits, as it also provides comfort, more benefits around this, is it gives us this unspoken standard. So we don't have to use a ton of brain power to fit in. It gives us some unspoken standards where we can kind of observe around us, how are people dressing, how are people acting, and we can very quickly adapt and follow suit. It gives us a little bit of order and predictability around our situations and our environments. So things aren't just totally chaos and we're doing it. There seems to add some order to how we all act and how we all function together. And then it's also inclusive in general, inclusive and comfortable. By following these social norms, you're kind of working your way in and it's very inclusive, and there's comfortability around that as well. And so we've talked about how we act, how we dress, clearly, phone etiquette, text versus calls. What do you say? Hello. All these things. Dining. We can think of a number of different examples when we're eating dinner that are social norms. And sometimes you have to remember, social norms are these unspoken rules. Now, that's different from each particular family's. They could have different rules. So that's kind of where it's like some people pray before their dinner, some people don't. And that's just that's a unique thing. That's not a general, we're pretty much, regardless of your religion, you're supposed to, use a fork and utensil, unless there are some cultures that don't do that. Some other things when we're dining, regardless of your religion or whatever group you're in, if you're at a restaurant, it's usually, what do you order first? Your beverage, then appetizer, if applicable, then your main course, then your dessert. And there's no questioning this rule. Why can't I have dessert later? Because at some point we learned that we're going to fill up on bad stuff early. But again, there's this unspoken rule that this is the order that everybody follows. Now, when we're talking about this, now will transition us into our savings behavior, because this is really important in setting up this sorry picture of our personal finances. So I'm going to stop here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Joneses here in the United States and how the social norms are setting a standard for bad financial decision making, and that tees us up for our continued conversation about savings behaviors. So stopping here, we'll see you on the next video. Talk to you later.